Hello, one and all, and welcome to round 12 of the League of Europe Formula 2 Championship. I'm unfortunately alone today. The usual lead commentator for this division, Aidan, wasn't available tonight, so you're stuck with me, I'm afraid, for this round. Of course, I am QVR Daka, your usual co-commentator throughout this Formula 2 series. So, we are here for round 12, or what should have been technically the first round of the championship that got cancelled, unfortunately, due to lobby issues. Hopefully, of course, that does not repeat tonight, and we can have a nice clean run through the races here in this round. So we'll see, of course, how it all unfolds. Of course, quick rundown of the story at the moment in the Formula 2 Championship, because for the first time, really, it took quite a bit of a turn. Of course, we do know that the headline championship battle is between Toxic, defending champion, and Larkin, his challenger for this season. And throughout most of the way, Larkin has been leading it, but in the last round, a very, very successful run from Toxic, where he came very close to securing a double victory, ended up securing him a 16-point swing to the top of the championship, and he leads the way now, and we have just 7 rounds left. Of course, this extra round does give Larkin more of a chance to catch up. This was hastily organised because it wasn't originally scheduled, but thankfully we have 19 drivers that have shown up for this one, and they're going to dispute things here tonight. So, I guess we're going to get into it then. Of course, you guys know the format. One-shot qualifying, followed by a feature race there, and then a shorter sprint race with the top 8 being reversed. So we'll see, of course, how that affects things. And not only, of course, you got your battle for first in the championship, battle for third in the championship is also very intriguing between Verstappen and Campbell, the Triad drivers, who are also very, very close and have been all the way throughout the season. Just 14 points separates them, and there's also a very tight battle between Zonema and Chill over 5th place. Here we are then, qualifying for Australia is ahead of us. This is familiar territory for the start of seasons, not the midpoint, but hopefully we're going to get a good show for you here tonight. Of course, again, hastily organised. Probably a lot of drivers haven't done the practice that they normally would, so we'll see how that affects things as we get into it. So here we go then, beginning to line it up, just waiting, of course, for the last of the drivers to ready up, and we can get into our one-shot qualifying around the Albert Park circuit. Here we go then, as we see a lot of freak from these qualifying comparisons. So let's look at Miami 5 heading into turn 1 now, getting on to those brakes then, turns it out nicely there through kink of turn 2, nice and steady on the exit there, easy flat, and a DRS as open as you charge towards turn 3, getting onto those brakes around the 100-meter board then, into second gear, try and maintain the traction on the exit, run it back to the outside of the track to sweep it into turn 4. Difficult traction zone there, but he keeps it together. Turn 5, little entry left. It's flat in Formula 1 cars, more difficult in Formula 2 cars. Now into turn 6 and 7, open it up there, long right-hander of turn 8 is easy flat, and then you're going to get back onto the brakes and the turn 9 then, put it down into second gear, and then running out again on the exit, getting close as you can to the wall. Carry as much momentum as you can. We're still following Miami 5 at the moment in 7th place. We'll see if the final sector has better fortunes into the fantastic high-speed chicane, the most iconic corners on this track at turn 11 and 12. Take out it flat out there. We've got Nolan that's jumped out the session, so hopefully we get it back in. Philippe is retired from this qualifying lap. Now to turn 13 in, as you begin to slow it down for this tricky and twisty final sector. Medium speed right-hander of turn 14 follows, and then you're back onto the brakes again for the low speed left of 15, and then you get up to the left side of the track and open up the final turn at turn 16, run out to the line, and Miami 5 is going to put himself up there. We'll see, of course, how the order sets it out, but it is Toxic, as per it seems, on pole position by about 0.2 of a second, and both him and Lando clear of the rest of the field. It's actually a bit more spread out this time around, but yeah, Toxic crucially on pole position yet again. He extends his provisional championship advantage to 20 points up there We'll see, of course, if that's going to hold out. We have got two very unpredictable races ahead of us. Toxic is on pole position ahead of Lando. Their familiar faces out at the front of the grid. Verstappen solid qualifying, gets onto that second row. A new driver, Nussbaum, I'm going to pronounce it like that. That could be horrendously wrong. And my pronunciation is probably a bit off of that. Chill, better fortunes him. He qualifies 5th. Turo Pease joins him on the front row of Larkin and Campbell, or Campbell and Larkin, I should say, in that order. Underwhelming qualifying for both of them. They end up 7th and 8th. Miami 5 and Zenema round out your top 10. Outside the top 10, you have Alt Maverick, Spag, Nolan, whose AI car still managed to set a time. Freak Vrock, Ryan, and Ebo, the last of the drivers to set times. And then Jaco, Elf, and Philippe were unable to set times and validated throughout their laps. A track where it is tricky on track limits, so you can understand why, but they're going to have to try and fight their way through, heading throughout the race. So we'll see how that all unfolds. Of course, feature race where the bulk of the points are handed out. Looks bright and sunny for this one, so there'll be no rain as we saw in the last round, and we have seen increasingly in the more recent events of the championship. We have certainly seen, I think, at least 3 wet races so far this season, but we're going to get dry conditions for you here today in Australia. And of course, this is where the lobby failed at the first round of the season, but we're going to see now if it's going to come good for us this time around. So, just seconds away then for what should be a very action-packed race. Australia, though, a rather difficult track to overtake at. It is basically a street circuit, so we'll see if that's going to work out well for the drivers. They're all going to have to try and navigate it. Can get very hectic into that turn 1 and also turn 3. Kind of pinch points on the apexes there, so there is the possibility for incidents. As always, we do not wish that upon the drivers, but we'll see, of course, how things unfold. So here we go then, 19 drivers on that grid, and what I'm going to do now, ladies and gentlemen, is have a look at the tyre choices. As you can see, the super soft and the mediums are the tyres that are available, so there's a 2 compound gap here, and wow, we're seeing a mix. We've seen increasingly in the more recent rounds that most of the drivers have opted for the softer compounded tyres at this track, though. It is emphatically not the case, and both drivers on the second row, interestingly, going for the mediums. Toxic and Lando, your front row, and the 2 fastest drivers in qualifying, of course, are opting for these super soft tyres, so they're going to try and blow away off the start. Keep an eye out for Chill, Zawerva, Nolan and Jaco, because they are also the only other drivers actually that are on the super soft. The rest of the drivers are on mediums, so keep an eye out for those 4 to try and make progress early on. It is critical for them to move forward early stages and avoid getting damage. 17 laps as your feature race leg there, and of course you're going to see a shorter distance sprint race, so we're going to see. Let's see, of course, though, how things are going to unfold. Interestingly, I'm keeping an eye out on the Discord chat in the League of Europe server. Lando said that he lost 0.3 of a second in the final sector to what he was capable of, so maybe he has the pace to challenge Toxic, as we've seen on several occasions in the last few rounds of the championship since the feisty new driver has arrived. So we'll see now if he's able to mount the challenge to the defending champion and new championship leader. We'll see now. Keep an eye out for Verstappen and our debutant Nussbaum. Again, I'm terribly sorry if that has been pronounced wrong. I'm pretty sure it is. But anyway, we'll see how our debutant gets on amongst the field of other experienced drivers. Here we go then. Toxic getting up to the front of the grid, and here we go. Lando will join him. He'll be looking to try and get the jump off the line, and we'll see, and at the very least stay in front of the medium runners on the second row behind him. If he gives up that position, they could have a very long day ahead for Lando. We'll see though how it all unfolds. You can see, unfortunately, I think that Nolan has not got back into his car. We'll see. I'm not sure if he's going to be in control for this start. We'll keep an eye out though for the dams. But anyway, we are now lined up on the grid ahead of a 17-lap feature racer. Toxic as pair on the front row. We'll see if he ends in there. 5 lights. And we are away from the feature race here in Australia there. You can see Lando struggling for traction, trying to get off that line, and Toxic looks like he's going to maintain a lead there, spearing off to the side. That was an hard, and you can see there loads of contact back there. Freak Frog has gone round, I think, and yeah, he's going to have to settle back for the back of the field. And we got full course yellow, I think that is. The notification isn't exactly popping up. I think it may well be a VSC on the opening lap. So we'll see, of course, how things have unfolded from a manic run towards turn 1. Unfortunately, we see some incidents back there. Let's have a look and see what we're saying in terms of the position gains. Well, there is a bit of a glitch there. Jekyll, I was going to say, he's done a remarkable job to move up that many places, but both he and Nolan are unfortunately bugged out a little bit in terms of our of course of the timings and the graphics glitch. So hopefully it begins to settle itself out. You can see Freak Funk back at the back of the field as it should all line itself up. Toxic though got done what he needed to do, got away brilliantly and led away at the front. We'll see, of course, when we do in fact get back to racing. I'm actually just going to check a full course map. We do actually have a full safety car, my mistake. You can see it sitting there at the exit of turn 2. So we are going to queue back up then, and we get back to racing, of course, once the safety car comes in. So let's look at the winners and losers of that start. Nussbaum unfortunately got away horribly. I think it must have been caught up in an incident and has dropped right to the back of the field. That's promoted several drivers. Larkin also had major issues. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I did see an Arden car spearing off to the side. I assumed it was Philippe, but Philippe actually had a pretty clean start. So Larkin, I think, must have gone off in that opening melee and is now down into 14th place, while his championship rival sits there leading the race relatively comfortably and was not threatened on that start. Larkin has damage and is coming into the pit lane. Now this is not going to be a mandatory pit stop, and Philippe has got an even worse fate. He's going to have to stack behind. Now he will be able to get back up to him. All these drivers from 14th down must have picked up damage on that opening lap and are now being forced to come in, repair their front wing, and they'll have to pit again because of the mandatory pit stop rule. So this is disaster for all of these drivers then. They're going to be putting on, keep an eye out on the tyres that they're going to be selecting. You can see that it is going to be mediums for every last one of them, except for Nussbaum. So he's going to try and charge his way going through the field, and he will settle out. Filter out just by XL Ryan. So Larkin stays in the same place and will have fresher tyres. So because there was not much in the way of no drivers behind him stayed out, he does have a bit of a better advantage there, but still has to stage a monumental fight back to get back into this race. So let's have a look at the status quo there. You can see that it has promoted Nussbaum's era has promoted most of the drivers from 4th downwards have moved forward. Chill coming into the fray a little bit more, and of course being sort of reunited with some, or getting closer I should say, to some of the Supersoft runners will be serving him just well. And we'll see if he can try and dispatch of QVR Verstappen just up the road and try and get his way through. Verstappen's going to be looking over his shoulder. I'm sure he'll struggle to stay in contention and stay with the group of drivers ahead. We'll see if he's able to manage it. As we're just going to get back to racing. I do apologise for that, but we will get back very shortly, probably on the next lap, because in fact we do have a few drivers that were slightly isolated at the back due to their pit stops there, as Philippe and Elf both had to stack behind their teammates in rather unfortunate circumstances. They're going to have to try and come back again. I just jumped out there to, you can see it kind of refreshes all the graphics so you can get notified of any race director updates throughout the race. So, I'm running out of things to talk about here. We're going to see now the more intriguing strategy developments, because you can see there's actually a pack of super soft runners that have converged in that midfield. If I'm just going to cut to it there, you can see there, Zaudua must have been slightly caught up on that. He didn't get any damage, I don't believe, so he is now as I'm just going to actually try and confirm that there. Go back to Zerma there. You can see him. He does look all clean. So he must have just been checked up in that incident. Just about managed to get away with it. And that's why he's dropped position. Jaco had an excellent start. Up 6th place, has dodged his way around the chaos, certainly. And is sitting behind Nolan's ghost car. So he can certainly try and use that as a platform to make progress. Particularly on those super soft tires. He's going to be flying. He will have been so disappointed with what happened in qualifying, but has a chance to rectify that, make amends, and get back into this race. I do very much hope that we get back to green flag racing on this lap, although I'm less than optimistic, judging by how far off the back Philippe and Elf are. But of course they will be getting rapidly. So Toxic has had it all his own way so far, and we have seen feature race dominance from him at so many stages throughout the season, and this is his real chance to take a firm iron grip on the championship lead, as he finally managed to grab it in the last round. Now he can really strengthen that grip he has on it and try and lead away. So it looks like we will be staying out for yet another lap, and we'll get back to racing on the next lap. So just stay tuned and wait, because we should have a thriller on your hands later on. Keep an eye out for any potential pit stops, maybe under that safety car, but of course it looks like everyone's going to be staying out. There's not much change in the strategies then. So Toxic still leads the way. Lando looking to try and bear it down on him. I also have Zowen was actually coming to the pit, so maybe I was wrong. Maybe he did sustain damage and is now dropping right to the back of the field for a driver that's been so consistent. It's disastrous for Zonema, and you can see a wing change has come on, or maybe he wasn't quite observant enough, but he is going to have to try and get that repaired, get back into this race. Tires going on look to be the medium wall tires. So yeah, the yellow wall medium tires, I should say, comes out, and it will be a long way back, but I believe that may well count as a mandatory pit stop. I'm not exactly clear on the rules on that, if you could do it under safety car, but that could serve as a real opportunity for him to gain a real upper hand in this race. So stay tuned, see what Zonema does there, as Philippe pick up a penalty under safety car. That's rather bizarre. Must have done it on the exit of turn 4. That is a tricky spot for track limits, and if you're not paying attention, even under safety car, sometimes it can get the better of you. So Philippe is going to be a bit compromised in this race. It really hasn't gone well for the German so far. He's going to have to try and fight back later on. The safety car's still out there. We have been seeing this presence for about 2.5 laps, and I'm sure these drivers, as well as you spectators, as well as me, are interested and excited, itching for these guys to get back racing, and get back to racing they shall do. Safety car is going to be coming in at the end of this lap, and we'll see what happens now. Of course, Toxic has the opportunity to control the pace up at the front there, just maintain it and dictate it, and Lando is going to be tasked with trying to go with him. So the safety car now begins to scamper up the road. Will Zonema be able to get back to them in time? He is closing fast, but he's only at turn 11 now, where the rest of the drivers are coming through turn 14 at the head of field. Toxic is about to get things back underway for us then. When does he fully commit? Can Lando and the rest of the field stay with him once we get back to it? Here we go now. Is he going to open it up? Coming out turn 15, still holding it back. We're approaching the last corner, running out of time. He's going to get this up right to the line, I think there. Sitting behind him is Lando. He's eager to get going, then away goes Toxic, going up the front, but Lando's done a decent job of responding to it. Jaco has come in immediately to serve a mandatory pit stop for Stamina, an excellent restart, and he's also challenging further back though. Campbell is on the attack, down the inside he goes on Total Peas. They're getting almost side by side. Peas runs wide, and Campbell round the outside of 2 is going to get up into that 5th place, and look at Miami trying to follow through there. So Peas is isolated on that outside line, but still just about hanging on to the back. Where the outside he goes on Campbell, just about rejected, and Campbell is up into the top 5 now, and moving up in the world there. Campbell, now the second top medium runner, has a real opportunity to make something now out of this race after a less than stellar qualifying. So Pace has to settle and move down into 2nd place. Miami down into 7th. Further back there, Larkin immediately on the charge, going past XL Ryan down there at turn 7. It moves up into 11th now. Can he salvage points from this race? Can Larkin? He does still have to make another pit stop in this race, even though he pitted on the safety car. He's going to have to watch out for that there. As predictable, as you can see, Chill is immediately starting to raid in and put pressure on. QVR Verstappen over there fights in third and fourth place. We'll see how that one unfolds. Up at the front, Lando is keeping Toxic honest, but the Prema driver just has to maintain things, just has control it, and that's all he needs to do. Further back to the field, Zerno is also on his offences there as he cruises past Freak Frog, who almost fights back to the outside of turn 13, but just about. Hags back for the minute there, may not have much to fight with Zerno has much fresher tyres. So over the line now, lap 6 of it, Toxic, fastest lap of the race to a stretch. His legs up there, and Verstappen is hanging on in there, and he's got to try and stay as close as he can to him to really benefit and prosper, thrive at the closing stage. Stop this race. I saw a mistake, but that's Campbell running off the track, heading down the straight to turn 3. He's got to watch out for that, got to be careful. He'll wrestle it back and maintain that position there, and next he'll ride, fending back at Larkin, full wrestle, breaks incredibly late, trying to stop it right outside of 3, and now the inside of 4, and Larkin will just about hang on, but he's really struggling to move forward now, and Ryan is piling on the pressure, and he's still not cleared Nolan, his AI car at the moment, who's still running on those super soft tyres out there. Oh, Maverick as well is pressuring Spaghetti Chips in that battle over 8th place. They're beginning to get detached from the group ahead, so maybe Maverick fancies he can go a little bit quicker than the Univirtuosi car. Get him moved on. They're spinning up in the front foreground. That is Total Peas. Must have gone under traction into turn 9, just maybe got on the curb and spun it out, spun up the rear tyres. And Total Peas, who had such a bright start to his season, is slowly but surely dropping back with these mistakes that are creeping in, so he really has to try and get back to it there. But P's now 14th place, a long way from where he'll want to be, as Larkin looks like now he's going to move past Nolan's AI car up into 9th there. He's still got these drivers in sight, but how much further can he realistically go? P's now out the session completely. That's coming out of turn 12, and we have maybe a VSC, I'm not exactly sure, but Toxic has come into the pits and is taking an opportunity there. Quick thinking from Toxic to get into those pits, and it looks like it's going to be a VSC, so that is going to maybe put Toxic at a huge advantage, and I think the rest of the field has really missed out on an ace card here, particularly those super soft runners. So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to affect things, but Toxic surely is going to gain out of this, as he's now going to emerge from the pit lane just behind Freak Frog. A few seconds adrift, but he can use that to just get back into clear in. Toxic could be in a really strong position here, so we'll see how that all unfolds. We are 6.5 laps into this Australia Grand Prix feature race, and already we have seen two safety car periods of sorts. A VSC, which is just ending now, and a safety car, of course, earlier on. So Lando now leads the way, 1.6 seconds clear, but I'm not sure if he's made the right strategy call. We'll see if Toxic's tyres will hold out for the 10.5 remaining laps here in this Australian feature race, but I think that's a good call. We'll see how it all works out in the end though. Still, Chill piling on the pressure on QVR Verstappen, but Verstappen gets a very strong exit coming off of turn 12, and will hold on just for the moment onto that second place, and doing everything he can to maintain things up there and keep it in order. As the leading medium runner still, Verstappen still has a very strong position in this race if he can stay with it there. Look at them now, staying out is Lando and Verstappen. Chill is going to come in this lap though, and I think he would have wanted to come in on the previous lap, but of course his teammate Toxic answered that question for him, and now Chill is going to have to come in, avoid a double stack, and get back into this race. So they're all going to jump in there. Nolan's AI also comes into the pits as well. Of course, he won't be gaining any points from this since it isn't him driving the car, of course. But we're just going to keep track of his progress. Maybe his AI can achieve something of note in this race. Larkin is so bottlenecked up here behind Spag and behind Maverick. And Spag, though, runs very wide, going through 3, and Maverick landing on the inside of the 4, trying to capitalise on the mistake there. But he runs out of road, runs out of space, and just about held on by Spag. That 5th place will be, but now it has really brought things into play after that mistake. Now the Carlin is on the attack, but also on the defence as Larkin gets a great run coming off of 7, and now attacking. Oh, Maverick round the outside is going to be to turn 8, and still the outside into 9. Does Larkin hang in there? Brings incredibly late. Can he get it stopped on the outside there? Yes, he can. Larkin is on a mission after that disaster at the start. He now runs in 6th place and really making an effort to get back into this, but how much can he achieve in the half a race distance we still have to go? So still Larkin now moving through ahead of old Maverick and behind Spag. We'll see if he can try and make anything out of that there. Ryan is still trying to hang with it there. Larkin missing the apex of 13 a little bit there. Maverick drawing closer and closer. Dead inside lane at turn 14. Larkin gives him the space, but holds on around the outside and keeps that 6th place for the moment. Into the pit lane comes Lando now. So he's going to put on the medium compounded tyres. Did he miss any opportunity to try and get that pit stop done under VSC and following Toxic's footsteps? Toxic at the moment is already cleared Freak Frog. He is really flying, and he will jump ahead of Lando then. So Lando was right on the back of him before the VSC, and that's the ground that's been made. Looking further up, the Larkin now attacking Spag right outside and further back there, right on Maverick. But Larkin, again late on those brakes, but Spag doesn't give it up easily. Runs him out wide, but still Larkin claims the place further back. Ryan's got a tougher fight on his hands from Maverick, who runs way in a turn 4, and Maverick claims that, claims that place and moves up into 6th. So Maverick dropping back then is now having to look over his shoulder as these drivers start to move through, and he's going to have to try and fight his way back into this. Larkin making a series of impressive manoeuvres, now runs in 4th place, again recovering from that start that he had, but he's going to have to try and make all the most of it now. Maverick is trying with everything he has to try and salvage something and get back to XL Ryan. He runs just a quarter of a second adrift of the Dam's car and gets a decent run on Ryan, but I don't think it'll be enough further back down the field there. Nosebell move past Jacob, and actually Elba's lining up Jacob as well down the inside. Nose for 14th, but they're still fighting to the nail, and Jacob has to give it up. Elf storming through and moving through as well. Jaco, a disastrous race so far for the XL driver, unfortunately, for a man that's impressed so much in the last few rounds. He's really having a bit more of a troubled time at the moment out there. So now, Larkin moving away, Spag just struggling a little bit to stay with him at the moment. And we'll see if he can try and turn things around. He still had DRS going down that straight. Another fastest lap from Toxic. My oh my, is he flying? And now chasing down Zonema up the road. Of course, Zonema came into the pit lane and I think has put himself in a power position by making that pit stop. But he's going to have to try, possibly fight back against the furious, ruthless charge of Toxic MML, championship leader and defending champion, who continues to fly through this field and now getting up onto the back of Zonema. So we'll see if he can try make a decisive overtake, put more cars between himself and Lando. Gap between himself and Lando stands at about 8 seconds. That is a healthy lead if I've ever seen one. He really gained out of that VSC. Does have older tyres, but surely he'll have it up and then late launch down the inside. Toxic had to jump out of the way of Zonema. My oh my, that could have been disastrous for the champion, but he just had to get out of it, and now he's chasing him down again, heading towards turn 11, eyeing on the inside line. No, it's just going to set back for now, and Zonema maintains that 8th position. Now, coming into turn 12, Toxic will attack again. Can he get a move done this time? He eyes up the inside and finds it. Heading into turn 13 then, Toxic claims the inside onto the brakes, and this time gets the move done and moves up into 8th. Now the first of the medium runners are coming in. Verstappen from the race lead now comes in, and can he fight back and potentially maybe nabbing a few points off of Lando? He may well be very close to Chell, who grabs an undercut of a few laps on him. So Chell may well be at the pits in front, but Verstappen has such a tyre advantage. Surely he will cruise, he will charge through, and he will get himself back into potentially a net second place. He's got about 4 seconds to make up after Chell. Chell himself, though, may have actually lost out here. The undercut hasn't worked out. Verstappen may just maintain this now. Heading towards turn 3. Chell will have the momentum. Verstappen will have cold tyres. But surely even that may not be enough for QVR. Chell and Verstappen has critically held on to that 11th place, and now with fresh super soft tyres under him, he can fly and he can charge his way heading up the field there. So watch out for Verstappen. He can really start to make an indentation and Lando's advantage over him. Now further up the road though, Ryan is beginning to die up a move on the Univirtuosi car of Spaghetti Chips. Coming from turn 9, he gets a much better run. Verstappen was caught on the curb, but Ryan had to just about get out of it, had to just hold back. Lando is also on the offences though. He's got past Free Frog, runs a little bit wide, and Freak actually getting back underneath him then. Heading towards turn 11, this could get so deadly if they're not careful, but Freak onto the grass on the inside just loses momentum and has to sit him behind. Has to just bide his time and maintain that 10th place, and surely Lando will begin to move up the road now. Verstappen already is making huge inroads in that gap though. He's within 2.5 seconds now of Lando. We're seeing more pit stops from medium runners. Campbell in, Miami in behind him. Larkin stays out, going through a little bit further. Of course, I don't believe that pit stop offence was a mandatory one, so he will have to stop again, I believe. But he's still going to look to try and make the best of it there. This is a close battle on track, though. Ryan holding up Maverick, and Toxic now is right there with him. Look at Toxic on the charge, and he's immediately attacking right outside of old Maverick there. He's been on a furious charge today. Right outside there, Maverick doesn't all give it up though, trying to hold that inside line. But round goes Toxic, and he is up in a 3rd place now after making a pit stop. Verstappen as well continues to charge. He runs 7th after cruising past Freak Frog easily. He begins to move forward as well, and has Lando, just 2 seconds in front there, and Lando's going to be able to look in both his left and right mirrors soon enough. Look at Toxic again now on the back of Ryan. Eyes on the inside line, goes for the inside line, but just it's a bit half-hearted, and Ryan will hold 2nd for now, and Toxic has to settle in. But for how much longer will the championship leader and defending champion settle? Here we go now, into turn 11, through turn 12, and he has a great run again. Does Toxic then, looks to the outside there. It's not going to be easy. Ryan is not giving this up, so round the outside is going to have to be for Toxic MML. Ryan tried furiously to hold on to the inside line. Round outside goes Toxic, and they're still wheel to wheel into turn 14. Ryan somehow from somewhere has found it to maintain that position, but Toxic attacking again down the inside into 15. Again Ryan round the outside, but this time I think he's going to bail out into the pit lane. Maverick stays out with Toxic. Toxic lost a heap of time in that fight, but in the end was able to move forward, and now runs in the race lead yet again. So wow, what a run through that was from Toxic. He's in impervious form today. He has lost time to Lando. Lando does have 2 lap fresher tyres, but he is still going to mount it to climb, particularly with Verstappen chasing him down. Although the advances in the last few laps haven't been that great for Verstappen, he's going to have to try and move forward. Campbell is now on the offences this time. Look at Freak Frog. Does he go for it from a long way back? He does. Campbell now down inside of 3, and yes, from a long way behind, he has made that one work through turn 3, and now has QVR Chell firmly in his sights. Can Chell possibly and probably hold on to that 6th position? Look at Campbell's charge though. He's got the freshest tyres in the field near enough, and he is flying. Larkin also came in, and he's going to have to try and salvage some type of points from this race. Keep an eye out on Larkin, because he is going to be flying, I'm sure, and desperate to make amends. He is close to points, but he is going to have to work very hard to get them and stay in this championship fight with Toxic still leading the way. I know, of course, Toxic did get a penalty when he was avoiding Zonema. I don't think Lando has a penalty. The gap between them at the moment, 4.7 seconds. That translates to 1.7 seconds in net time. And Zonema is still in this one. I don't think he has to pit again. Into the pits comes Maverick from 2nd. Finally, with the oldest tyres in the field, it was a formality, and he came in there chilling out with a penalty. It's coming under increasing pressure. And we also have Larkin. He moved up. He's got past Elf on this lap, and is now beginning to raid a nose bomb there. Very experienced driver on a very inexperienced driver. How's that we're going to end now? Here comes Campbell down the inside from the top 5. Chill not giving it up and holds it right inside of turn 1. That'd be sensational if he defended it. But Campbell surely now with DRS yet again. Pulls fourth and he's going to get through into that 5th place now. Chill again, fighting to the nail for it. Round the inside of turn 3. Does he have the grip to pull that one off? They're still wheel to wheel into 4. Chill trying for all his worth. But eventually, you can't fight physics, folks. And eventually, the better tyres of Campbell prevail, and he is up into 5th place, backing up his teammate. You have yellows coming up the road. Is that Zerneman? I think that must have been. I think it's Ebo letting some drivers through then, as he's now a lap down in this race. So Ebo getting out of people's way, very sportsmanlike as per usual from Ebo, and he's now going to sit back down in 17th place, not on his race. But he is now beginning to make amends for that. There's El coming into the noseball. You see now into turn 9. Both drivers sliding. El misjudging the braking. Now Spag takes full advantage and moves up. He runs now in 10th position and now has Nussbaum in his sights. Can he make the move done now? He's also got extremely fresh tyres. Look at the closing speed he has. He surely has a clear run at this. Now, DRS open for Spag there. He's going to try and line this one up there. The Universe Jose pulls to the inside there. Nussbaum tried to defend it, but it's futile. Down the inside goes Spag. And yes, he's through but runs away. And actually, Nussbaum faced back down the inside of the 14. And Spag not fitting it right inside. Wow! Spag did not get that one up. He refused to give it up. And now he's back into 9th place. And he'll have DRS as well. In the meantime, Lando moved through and is now running in 2nd place. And is actually not losing any time. In fact, he may well be catching Toxic. If it weren't for the VSC, then we could have such a tight battle on. And Lando may well have had this one in the bag, but he's going to have to work for it now with 2 lap fresher tyres. Lando is going to have to move, so can he do it? I'm just going to take a quick drink, folks. It has been a rather tough one. Being on my own, I do wish Aiden was here. But of course, due to matters outside of his control, he was unable to attend. Look at Verstappen though. Here he comes on Zerneman, lining him up to the inside already. Wow, that was instinctive. Wow, that was quick. And wow, that was effective. Verstappen to the inside. And he is up into 3rd place and continuing his charge on Lando. Lando chopped the gap to Toxic down by half a second in that sector. He is absolutely flying. And he may well be able to snatch this at the death still. I'll take one quick check. Lando, one warning. He is good. Toxic, on the other hand, he did actually get an instant penalty, and that was only with 2 warnings. And one of those warnings is really questionable. So we'll see if he wants to try and get that removed. At the moment, though, Lando really come in. 3.8 seconds is the gap he's closed. Down the field, we have battles going on there. Ryan goes, we moved on, and now Maverick attacking Jekyll. Down the inside into turn 14. This is risky. The right inside, he will for now, but now Maverick on the attack again, leaning back and up, spinning in the front foreground. That's Elf going round and giving up that 12th position. Jekyll inherits it for how much longer will he hold it? Ryan as well attacking Nosebump back there, and Miami attacking Chill. My there's so much like Chill's gone round. That's why he's dropped those possessions. Chill makes a critical error coming up for turn 2. He's recovering the car, but he'll drop so many places and surely out of potential contention now. Maverick will get past Jekyll. Finally, Jekyll this time is absolutely powerless to try and defend that 12th place. So up moves Maverick. He now runs at P12, but still points in front of him. There's Toxic going off. Toxic's going off at turn 9. Oh my word. He may have thrown it away right in the dead now. Verstappen attack him. Going to turn 11. He clears him before turn 11. Verstappen up in the 2nd place has Toxic lost. He's got another penalty now. Disaster strikes here on the penultimate lap for Toxic. He's desperate. He comes back with a vengeance against Verstappen. There he is in turn 13. He's got to be careful not to come into contact. He is still will to will with Verstappen. It's a 14 now. He's not giving this up. He's desperate for the move, but surely now Verstappen with the inside line in F15. Toxic still trying it right outside. This would be incredible from Toxic to fight it back. Wow, that was remarkable from Toxic to fight through on a car with fresher tyres and softer tyres. Somehow from somewhere he's in the second of Verstappen in the slipstream still on the attack. Can he get a better exit? coming off of turn 2. Of course, Toxic does not have DRS, my apologies, but he's still moving clear, and he now runs in a considerable second place, but with two penalties, he may have thrown away any chance of getting significant points on Larkin. Jekyll now is going off, coming to turn 15, and Maverick now on Chill down into the turn 1 there. Can he get this one done? Maverick on the offense is going to get in Chill heartbreak strikes. What a good run he had in this race, but the mistake finally came through there as further up the field, as I'm terribly sorry about that there. I had some controller issues, but look at this there. There's Ryan right it's in a noseball. They made wheel-to-wheel contact. They almost come together. Ryan, though, finds the gap. He now runs 9th in front of the debutant and now has Spag in his sights. Can he snatch it right at the death? We'll see how that all unfolds. But Lando has got one more sector, and under the most remarkable circumstances, has Toxic thrown this win away. Here we go now. Lando just coming up to the line now, further back into the field. Campbell's on the attack now on Zanima, round outside of turn 13, then inside of 14 as well. They flex towards him. Zanima forced on the inside line, and Campbell just to the end takes 4th place, and he may well hold it with penalties, but in the end Lando has, in the most unlikely circumstances, came through, and he is your winner for the feature race here at Australia. Toxic, where is he going to drop to? Campbell just misses out. Zanima in the end grabs a podium. Who would have thought that halfway through this race? Miami 5 holds off Larkin in the end. Toxic should have, got more points on him there. Spag and Ryan to the line now. Spag will hold on to it, but with a penalty will just about lose that out to Ryan. My oh my, what a finish between those two. Ryan ends up taking Nutsbaum 9th. Jekyll, after the mistake, ends up in the top 10. Spag has to settle for 11th in the end. Maverick 12th, Chill 13th, L 14th. Freak 15th, the AI car of Nolan 16th, and Ebo will come through in the end. And 17th. My oh my, I am certainly out of breath after that one, folks. What a race we were treated to. I hope you're enjoying the stream so far. But in the end, Lando has came through with it. In the end, it wouldn't have mattered about Toxic's mistake, but he did drop out the potential of having a podium. And Toxic now has been relegated into 4th place with Larkin 7. That's a real missed opportunity for Toxic. He may still earn a bigger championship lead out of this one, but what could have been for a man that could have easily come through with the race win. Lando, though, was the inheritance of that, and he is going to come through with the points, continuing his impressive showings in the last few rounds of the Formula 2 Championship. I'm just going to run you through the results very, very shortly, of course, when they eventually pop up. There is your podium, folks, there. And yes, it was Lando who came through it. Must have not been expecting it. He was about 8 seconds behind Toxic at one stage. But with fresher drivers and fresher tyres, and an incredible piece of driving, he turned it around and just came through it there. Verstappen and Zanima will round off your podium. Verstappen will certainly move further ahead in the battle for 3rd in the championship, whether that will change hands against Campbell, the sprint race specialist. We will find out later. Campbell also gets fastest lap of the race, but I'll run you through it now. Lando takes an all-important race victory here at Australia. Verstappen joins him in the podium, as well as Zanima in 2nd and 3rd place. Toxic, now I know he did get warnings in rather unfair circumstances, so he could be able to get those penalties removed. We'll see. Campbell fights to 5th in the end, almost got a podium, but just had to settle for 5th. Miami holds off Larkin. Larkin, strong recovery to get to 7th there. Ryan, Nussbaum and Jacob round out your top 10. Outside the top 10, you have Spag, Maverick, Chill, Freak Frog, Nolan, Elf, Ebo, Pease and Philippe. Pease and Philippe, of course, were unable to quite see out the checkered flag. An electrifying feature race that was, and I'm not sure if I've got it in me to do the sprint race, but as they say, the show must go on, and I'll try to do my best to provide the best show that I can for you guys ahead of this one. So here we are then. Sprint race is ahead of us, and of course still nice and dry for this one, so the drivers won't have rain to worry about, as we've seen a few times in the more recent rounds of the championship. So we'll see how this one unfolds. Then I believe XL Ryan has your top position on the grid, and he's joined by Larkin on the front row. I may well be wrong about that, but I believe that is how a reverse grid, of course, top 8 drivers being reversed. I'm pretty sure that is how things are going to run here. So here we are now, just a few seconds away from loading into things then for the sprint race here in Albert Park, Melbourne, Australia. You can see there Ryan and Larkin front row headed up by Miami and Campbell. Toxic, because of that error though towards the end of the feature race, he may well have a good run at things then. He does still maintain a strong 5th place, and we've seen what he can do there when he really works his magic. So, Toxic, don't count him out yet. You can never make that mistake, and I'm sure he can maybe give Larkin a fight out there. We saw their brilliant battle for the win in Monza. Of course, in that one, Larkin came out on top, but of course, at the moment, Toxic is winning the war. 12 laps it will be, though, for the drivers to define things. Should be the entire field on medium tyres. There you go. There should be no pit stops unless some cars suffer damage at any points throughout the race. So of course now we'll see how the other drivers are able to do. Lando down in 8th after winning that feature race, and as I mentioned a few times, very unlikely circumstances. I'm sure halfway point throughout the race he wouldn't be expecting to be standing on top of the podium. Now he's going to have to face the repercussions of that though, and fight back to the field and try and grab strong points from this sprint race. Ahead of him, Verstappen, of course. Zonema, oh, that was one of the more unlikely stories at the start of the race. He was pretty much dead last, but he got the strategy right under safety car, whereas others got it wrong. And you think about where Larkin could have potentially been in this race. If he avoids penalties, he could potentially have been on that podium in front instead of Zonema. But of course, what happened is what happened, and Zonema did a brilliant job to claim those points. And he'll, of course, try and supplement that from a charge from 6th place on the grid. Keep an eye out and see how that one unfolds. Anyway, Ryan guides them round. He has started near the front of reverse grids a few times this season. How is he going to control this one against the typically fast starting Larkin? Miami, of course, another very strong driver, will head up the 3rd position on the grid. And don't count out Campbell as well. He has had so much sprint race success this season. I believe at least 3 victories. But here we go then. Ryan up to the front of the grid, and the rest of the drivers beginning to follow suit. Sprint races are always hectic. Let's hope for no difference here today. So now we are just about ready and raring to go. The back of the field there, and Philippe does settle. Can he try and change around his fortunes as well as Top Pace? Keep an eye out for those drivers trying to fight through the field. But here we go now, lining up for the sprint race. We have 5 lights. And we're away for the sprint race here in Australia. Larkin had a cracking reaction off the leg. Can he jump Ryan heading towards turn 1, but the second phase of the start is not good, and Ryan storms clear. He leads in the turn 1 in front of Larkin. Miami 5 maintains that 3rd place, and may even have a good run on Larkin heading down towards turn 3. Look at Campbell though. What a start this has been. We have yellows for the back of the field. That's Frank Funk making a mistake there. And look at Miami. He's isolated on the outside, and down the inside goes Campbell, looking for that 3rd place, trying to move forward then. Miami face back on the inside, but has to yield, and now Toxic is lining him up from behind as well. Looking at 4th place there with Verstappen holding his heels as well. Heading to the end of the first side, down the inside goes Toxic. That was lady spinning. Round goes Toxic, and he almost hits Verstappen. He may have actually hit off him, which helped in correcting. Toxic is still in this race, but that could have been so much worse. Now Maverick is lining up his outside, heading at turn 9 there, going through the grass almost as Toxic squeezed him off. Verstappen past Zonema, squeezes him out, heading in of turn 9, and now Jacob attacking Zonema as well. Nussbaum on this so with a brilliant start. Now rounding the outside of Lando. Lando though holds on, 5th place still in his hands of the feature race winner. But look at Nussbaum now attacking him, and Verstappen right in there as well. So who's going to come in on top of this fight there? Round the outside, Nussbaum trying to get it done there. Verstappen sets it back so, but may well be treated to greater fortunes on the exit. Down the inside now, and he moves through. He's now off in the same, and now he runs wide as I say that, and drops well down the field. Error from Verstappen. Even Spag lines him up around the outside and gets the move done, and he runs in the top 10. So Verstappen looks so promising, but now he's been forced to drop it back. Up at the front though, Ryan Stowe leads the way. Larkin runs second, and ever-threatening Campbell looms in third place, hunting after yet more sprint race glory. Let's see how that one all shapes up. There's Zonema maybe on the defensive again. It's down the inside of him. Looks to Jaco, and he's going to go for it. Late launch from Jaco, but he's spinning. Mistake from Jaco. Runs almost into the side of him. Has to back it out, and you again loses several places. He's will to oh, Maverick, then his teammate, heading through into turn 5, sorry. Maverick gets squeezed on the outside, just manages to save it. Elf goes through, and now Philippe trying to get through. Elf looks down inside of Jacob, there's contact between them. Jacob pushed out wide, and Elf gets through there in a bit of a rough move there, and look at Philippe taking full advantage, moving down the inside and up in a 13th place as well. Maverick as well, attacking Jacob yet again, and who's going to come in on top of this one? Jacob holds it right the outside, but Maverick, more momentum on the exit of 10, and can he get that one done then? He takes a long way round towards turn 11. Who's going to come in on top of this one there? Jacob trapped on the inside, and that's the yielder up the front. The Larkin looking for the race lead. He's looking for the inside towards turn 14 with better traction on the exit of 13. Now it's a preferable run going through turn 14, but round the outside goes Ryan and Campbell now down the inside on Larkin. Then the championship contenders in trouble as Campbell makes the move stick. One opportunistic driver for the Trident, and now it's a clear run at your race leader. Here we go then, end of lap 2. What a start we've been treated to, and now exit Ryan's lead is under threat yet again. Campbell searches for the inside line, doesn't quite find it, has to settle in and maybe come in Ryan yet again as Larkin, has he made a mistake there? He's shot back. Larkin out wide and in trouble because right outside though goes Lando, looking at that 4th place. Larkin with a rare error, now having to go into defensive squeeze as Lando off the track almost, but it's just about going to hold on to that 4th place and is going to try and fight back. The Miami has jumped him, but look at Campbell, he is inspired yet again and has XL Ryan, who's done a brilliant job of maintaining the race lead so far, but Campbell has got him in his crosshairs and the race lead may well come from soon. Look at Lando yet again, what a brilliant performance, and now he is pressuring the championship contender going towards turn 11. He may even have a run at him there. Looks to the outside, can he carry the speed, the momentum around the outside? I think Larkin will just about see that up, but he's under pressure yet again, and he's not looking particularly fast at this stage. Now DRS open for QVR. Campbell now for the lead on Ryan, lay him to the inside very late on the race. Can he get it stopped? He's going to block him out on the exit and watch Miami, my oh my, off goes Ryan in the back when he drops back. Miami taking advantage of an over ambitious move from Campbell, coming back to the inside, his contact, and they're going to make more contact at the apex. Miami desperate to try and hold on to it there. Campbell getting the elbows out, rounding us into turn 16, doesn't quite come through, and Larkin has got back, he's got momentum, so he's going to come on top here. Now Campbell down the inside on Miami 5 then. We're in the third of the way through this race, and the action has been incredible. Look at this for the race lead. Miami gets squeezed out, and Larkin now looking to fight back, but he's boxed in, and Lando straight round the outside. Look at this bomb out of nowhere, round the outside. Oh, Miami 5 and down the inside goes Larkin 3 wide, and that's never going to work. Round goes Nussbaum, just been able to collect it. Now Toxic's on the back of him as well, and further back Ryan and Verstappen dueling away. Ryan trying to hold him out, but right outside goes Verstappen inside of 5. It's just about going to get through, and he runs now in that 7th place. Look at Miami trying to fight back on Nussbaum as well. He gets through into that 4th place, and Toxic has to settle in. Still looking at the back of him there, but Nussbaum coming back at Miami. Round it, say, oh my, can you get this one done there? Miami will just about hold it on the inside, and Toxic looking from behind. Ryan fighting back and Verstappen, they come together, going through turn 10 almost, but to see it through, and he runs now in 7th place up the road. Miami down inside goes Toxic. Oh my, that was late, that was risky from the championship leader, and Miami gets a penalty. Nussbaum held on to it, and now Ryan attacking Toxic, the defending champion, moving late, trying to cover it off, trying to somehow hold it. Miami now Ryan diving right outside, it's going to get squeezed off though. They're both going to run away. Where's Verstappen? He's ahead of them all. Verstappen moves through, and he runs in 6th place now. Oh my, what a move from Verstappen, taking full advantage. He now runs inside the top 6. The action has not far from taking a break, and it is not over yet. What a race this has been. I do have to take a drink, I apologise. So hopefully we can actually get back to some racing here. Oh my, we're not even halfway through this race. And Toxic now on the back of Verstappen, first and third in the championship. Now may well go to war out there. So here we go then, we have yellows back there. I think that may well be Chell coming out of turn 2. And yeah, Chell, disaster yet again. He really is not going to run round there, has the Prema. Look at Spag now, lining up Zodabu, who has a bit of a moment coming off of turn 4. But it's just about going to maintain it, to hold on to it and keep that 8th position now on the road. Chell now with a penalty. Again, things starting to go downhill. Toxic is still crawling all over Verstappen. These two ended the feature race with Julian, and now Toxic hits it again, cuts across completely. My oh my, Toxic completely misjudges it, and is going to run back again. Gets a penalty for his troubles. That's twice this evening. Toxic has made that mistake, and he's allowing Larkin to stay with him in the championship fight. He cannot keep making these mistakes with the pace that he has. Verstappen now with a penalty on lap 5 of this race. I feel like I'm ready to pass out, but again, the show must go on. Campbell still holding the race, like doing what he needs to do, but will there be controversy with some of the moves that he made, particularly on Miami? That one was a little bit questionable there. He isn't going to get DRS of Evil, who pulls to the side of the track. He is still being pursued hard by Lando in behind. Larkin has not quite been able to stay with it. We have yellows back there. That's Evil still letting everyone through behind then. Now Campbell gets a good enough run, I think, going off turn 2. He may well maintain it, doing everything in his power to keep a hold of that race lead. And I tell you what, he will keep it for now on lap 6 of this race. Toxic now on Verstappen, switches to the inside. Dummy from the champion. Can he get this one done on the brakes there? Can he get it all slowed, stopped? And Toxic MML is now into 6th place on the road. Again, getting the better of Verstappen in their wheel-to-wheel battles throughout this evening. And Toxic now runs in 6th place. So Lando closer than ever to Campbell. We're just about halfway through the sprint race, folks, and it is still so action packed. There were yellows back there in sector 1. I think that's still level. Maverick though is losing out there. Chill ready outside, but can't quite pull it off there. Has to run back behind it, spins it into the wall. Coming in at turn 7, he's gonna have to try and recover that car, but disaster for QVR Chill. And again, a night to forget for him there. He's really shown pace throughout this season, but ultimately it's not come to as much as he potentially deserves, or certainly not what he wants. So looking further ahead, once again, Campbell, what pressure is he under now as Lando lighting him up, looking for this potential manoeuvre then, and the Trident is under more pressure than he's been at any point throughout this race. Look at this though, they get onto the power in a turn 16 for the sixth time in this race, and now Lando's on the offensive. He is up and rising. Can he get the move done though on the race leader? Toxic fastest lap, he's trying to make amends, but he's stuck at the moment in that train behind Miami. Now, Lando bearing down on Campbell, who covers to the inside line. He's not giving that one up there. Defends it, sees off the line, breaks it, almost spins it, but will just about hang on to things there and keep a hold of the race lead. Look at this, wow, what a charge he is putting on the back of his teammate Miami, who cannot shake these guys, and neither can Larkin. Larkin is slowly but surely dropping back from the leaders and is not making more ground on the group behind. Larkin not quite having the pace this evening, I don't believe, and he looks to be unless there's more penalties for the two drivers in front, he may well have to settle for 3rd place out there on the road. J. Cole now with a penalty, he runs down to 12th place though, and again Toxic looking for any possible move, any possible opportunity for him to get through. Still no mistakes for Campbell, superbly driven up at the front, but how long can he hold out for? How long can he maintain another penalty for Toxic? This could be disastrous in a race that's still so close, but he's still on the back of this one, dives in down the inside. Toxic looking for 5th place, and he will claim 5th place. Clean, neat move from Toxic, but how much can he fight it back? How much ground can he make in the closing stages of this race? We're now into the second half, and he has to really get a move on and try and maybe chase down his rival Larkin, who's a few seconds up the road. Now Miami a little bit wise at a turn 16, and now Toxic lining him up. I'm not looking away, guys, from this battle over the race lead, because it may well get even closer. Lando has certainly got a better run at it than he has for laps before, and now attacking Campbell for the race lead for a decisive sprint race victory. Round the outside goes Lando. He may well run it out wide though. He has to give it up. As now Toxic down the inside of Nussbaum and Miami round the outside. They're fighting it back there. They're going to go wheel to wheel. Nussbaum may well be able to get the better of his teammate. They go side by side. Miami has to give it up and look at Verstappen. Opportunistic. Finds the gap on the inside. It's a try there side by side through turn 15. My oh my. Who's going to get it? It's going to be Miami. Just holding it round the outside. Further back though, Jacobs on the offensive but loses out to Maverick, running wide at a turn 4 Freak Vlog, and Philippe are battling it out there. Philippe is just about able to get in front, but there's no points on the table at the moment for these guys. Zerma now attacking Spag. Again, these two always seem to find themselves sharing the same portion of the track. I think Philippe's made a mistake. Philippe coming out of turn 5 must have dropped that one, and yeah, that's heartbreaking for Philippe. Dropping well out of contention now, will surely not get any points away from this sprint race. The battle at the front continues to intensify, folks, and it is uncallable who's going to come out with the victory here. I think after this one I'm going to need quite to lie down, folks, because my oh my voice is beginning to go, and I'm sure you lot have been hearing it on the stream. Further back, has Jaco finally completed the move on Maverick? Maverick is certainly not letting it go, but May will just have to sit behind, going through turn 14, almost into the back of the Englishman, but just hangs back and holds on. Now Verstappen then ends it in Miami there. Late move in turn 1. The Miami's compromised on the outside there, but gets a better run on exit and might just keep it. Now we have car out of the race. That's Philippe again out of turn 12. Has to give it up. Miami again coming to the inside line. Verstappen just about holds back. Zerma now on Spag right inside. This is going to be there. Can he get that one done? Spag almost spends it on the brakes. He was desperate to get it all slowed down, but in the end it worked out, and the Unicar maintains that 8th place. And we have more yellows as Shell now is crashing exactly the same manner, and we have a full safety car which bunches everything up. Game on now at the front. My oh my, this is really hot things up now. There was a 4-second gap between Lando and Larkin. That's going to come down. Toxic has a clear run at his championship rival now. He has 6 seconds of penalties, but they may well dispute things on the track. Again, just taking a little bit of a swig there, guys. I hope you understand, because this has taken its toll on me. I need an aid in my life. I need him to be here alongside me for me to really function throughout the remainder of the commentary. So I do hope that this has at least been somewhat enjoyable for you guys there, because certainly, well, it has been, of course, loads of fun for me. It has been a struggle in the second part of this race, certainly. Of course, I think we are required at least 2 laps of green flag running once after a safety car, so we'll see how that all unfolds there. It may actually be 3 laps. I'm not actually sure exactly how that all sets out, but they are going to join the back of the queue, and behind is there a pit stop for the back down the field. I can't quite catch it. I think that's Elf actually at the back of the field, and he'll go a lap down, so doesn't look like he's going to be getting any points away from this race. Just trying to clear my throat, ladies and gentlemen, to try and prepare myself for the finale here at Australia, now with a field punched up yet again and ready to go to war. We will get back to racing, I can confirm it, at the end of this lap. So we can see now us getting through to racing yet again, and Lando will continue his charge on Campbell, but so far Campbell has had a response to everything Lando has thrown at him. Will it be maintained? Will it hold throughout the final 2 laps here at Albert Park, Australia? Of course, it brings everyone else into contention, into play as well behind, and this could really hot up now. I cannot wait to see how this event concludes. So, QVR Campbell leads the way ahead of Lando, who has been the standout driver, surely, of tonight. He has driven superbly. Can he grab a double victory? Possibly. We will see. Here we go now. Safety car is in on this lap. And now Campbell, dictating the pace, is going to back them up. And he can go at any moment he can from now until the line. But he won't go yet. He'll hold it back and go when it is necessary. Lando did a great job of responding to the last safety car restart carried out by Toxic. Now, of course, different rival, different tactics. So what is Campbell going to play here? For the back down the field, there's a little bit of confusion with Freak Funk and Alt Maverick. Freak Funk eventually gives up that position again. We'll come back though to the race leaders. Campbell now through turn 14. Hasn't gone just yet, but he is lining up, raring to go at any moment. Now slows it right down in a turn 15. Will he go on the exit of this corner? And we'll see there. Does he apply the throttle there? He's building him up, certainly. Through the final corner, away goes Campbell. Can he hold on to it now? 2 laps left here at the sprint race here in Melbourne. So away they go now. Green flag running. These guys are free to do anything they please. And the finale here of what has been an incredible night of racing at Albert Park. Freak Funk with a penalty there for lowering yellow flags. That's going to certainly cost them Larkin already. Dropping back to the race leaders who have really been a class of their own here tonight. Miami still having to defend. Look over his shoulder in both mirrors to see where Verstappen is gaining on him, where he's attacking, where he can overtake him. And that duel over 6th position. They're a little bit detached as well. They've struggled to try and move with it, but Verstappen is certainly on the attack then. In 7th, he wants more, but he would not go for it just yet. We'll just sit it behind and look for any mistakes Miami could potentially make there. Keep an eye on that battle. Over 6th place, it is one of the tightest, one of the closest on the entire track at the moment. So Miami having to try everything in his power to defend it, but he's doing everything he needs so far, as is Campbell up at the front. He leads by half a second as the two championship rivals now come into contact in a close combat out on track. And Toxic, even though he will lose it on penalties anyway, he's going to be looking to try and possibly get one over on his championship rival here in this race. This was such a good opportunity for Toxic to gain in the championship, and he may well not have taken it with mistakes in both the feature and the sprint race. We're now out to the final lap of the evening, and Campbell still leads the way, and Toxic still closes down on Larkin. Can he suss out any overtakes right at the death? He has the slipstream towards turn 1, but he needs a better run now with no DRS to use, which is going to be helping your race leader up there. But Toxic gets a great run out of turn 1 and turn 2, and he's now going for it. Here comes Toxic now for 3rd place. Can he get this one done? Right outside is going to be there. Larkin does not give it up on the inside, round outside Toxic. Can he get it done there? Larkin squeezes it but gives him the space on the outside. Now the inside with Toxic, and they run parallel through turn 4, now through turn 5. Larkin has the line. Does he have the place though? They are still wheel to wheel. Look at this now, into turn 6, and Toxic round the outside, neither yielding, neither giving it up. But Toxic MML might just have it. He cuts across his nose. He fights for it to the nail to try and get 3rd place on the track, but Larkin's coming back at him down the inside, and now Nussbaum round the outside, and a death penalty for Larkin. That may cut his gains. Wow, that was so feisty. They went out to absolute war. Look at Miami from nowhere. Now cuts it, threads the needle to the inside of Larkin. Does he go for it there? Does he back out? He's still side by side with his teammate through the turn 11. Into turn 12 though, Miami gets in front of now Nussbaum, who's on the attack. Now on the defensive is Verstappen. Can he snatch a last gap overtake? Does he look at the inside line? No, just hangs back, and meanwhile not getting an opportunity to the end. What a race this has been, and it's all turned on its head as far as the championship has been concerned in this last lap. But Campbell at the moment is hanging on. Does he have penalties? The questions will be answered now. To the line, Campbell pulls to the pit lane, and he comes over the line in 1st position and will hold on to it. Campbell is your race winner. What a defence over the race lead there in the end. You can see the position streamed you up. Spag gets 3rd place in the end. My oh my, what a shocking result. And Spag ends up 3rd, Zerma 4th. Larkin has to settle for 5th there. Ryan comes through into 2nd. You can see how much the penalties affect things. Miami, Nussbaum and Verstappen all dropping back, and Toxic down in 10th place, right at the back of that queue. Look at how remarkably close the times are in that fight. But Toxic came off worse, and that is going to cut his advantage over Larkin, who finishes in 5th place. But it could have been so much more. It could have very easily been a podium if Toxic had not intervened on that last lap, and that is what... But what I was saying was, that's what champions do. And in the end, Toxic did his best to cut his losses, but he will still not be he will still be regretting that. There's no doubt about that. Toxic in the end 10th position. Spaghett's driver of the day. I was very much not expecting him to pop up in that 3rd place in the end, but he drove superbly and avoided the penalties and took full advantage in the end. So, Spag on your podium. But Campbell, although there may be some controversy surrounding some of the moves he made at the midpoint of the race, he does provisionally have your race victory ahead of Lando. And Lando drove superbly tonight. He is certainly my driver of the day for these 2 races. So hats off to Lando there for somehow snatching that feature race victory and almost coming through with the sprint race to back it up. But in the end, Campbell wins it. They are, of course, joined on the podium as well by Spag, who comes from 11th to 3rd, superbly driven as well. You can see the list of 3-second penalties that cost drivers dear. And Toxic, most of all, with 6 seconds, drops down to 10th. Campbell wins though, ahead of Lando. Spag runs off the podium. Zaunima, another strong result in 4th place. He's another superb drive from tonight. Larkin comes through 5th place then. Maybe could have been more, but a penalty on the last lap cost him dear. Ryan, 6th place it is for him there, ahead of Miami 5 there. Nussbaum got in the wars in this debut, but in the end, couldn't quite get higher than 8th there without a penalty. Could have been so much more. Verstappen rounds off in 9th place there, ahead of Toxic, who caps off the top 10 in this race. Behind them was Jaco Maverick. I'm terribly sorry I didn't have more chance to run through the results. That was exhausting for me. I'm not going to lie, folks. There, a real physical challenge, but I'm glad I got through it, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the show, enjoyed the stream on my end, and hopefully, of course, you enjoyed the racing most of all. I certainly did there. What an action-packed round that was, and it wasn't even scheduled. Think about that. So I'm going to cap things off there. I really want to rest myself after that enthralling piece of action. So I hope you've all enjoyed. So without much more to say, I've been Zaka, and until next time, we'll see you later.